I just want to take this opportunity to welcome you to our today's session. And our today's session, we are doing revisions. And if it is possible, we can do all the topics that are there in management accounting. And I have said I will just be brief. There is this question of, there is this topic which the examiners kept testing the students regarding to cost estimation. And we said in our topic, for those who are able to watch all the videos, we said the cost estimation is basically used for the budgeting purposes. And when I look on the last semester's class, could be last semester's exam, we could be able to see there is a question which the examiner was able to bring there. I know we're having some challenges here and there based on the time frame, but we have to bear with the situation because the time is short. This is the shortest semester compared to the rest. So allow me just to be a bit quick, but I will be able to follow everything that I'm very aware you need to do, and I'm supposed to be teaching you tonight. I just want to start with a question which is already in our screen. We are discussing about the two methods because we know the costing methods normally have the cost estimation normally have 4 methods. We are discussing about the ILO method. We are discussing about the regression analysis where we normally talk about the least square methods. And when we look on the reputation of how the question have been tested, it means that this question might be repeated. So that is why I just want to look on the basics, which I was able to teach you. Then from there, we will be able to look on something different, but moving very quickly. So in that regard, I will just be able to start with April 2023. There is a question number 1C, where we are being told that the management accountants of the Ungasafi Millers has presented the following data on machine hour and electricity consumption for the last 6 months. And then the examiner has already given you a data there regarding to the machine hours and the electricity expense. And they have given you a certain data there. And I remember during our class, I said, when this data is given, it is very important for you to understand how am I supposed to be knowing which is my dependent and which is dependent variable. So when you're discussing about the high-low method, we know the high-low method discusses about forming a linear equation using the two points, the highest and the lowest points. But when you look on the least square or the regression analysis, we are discussing about forming the linear equations, being able to use all the data values given. And that is why we are going to be looking on, based on the data which I was able to share with you, we discussed about what are some of the advantages and disadvantages of both methods. So allow me just to move quickly with the question which is ahead of us. So when the question like this is being brought in an exam, right? When this question is coming in your exams, it is very important for us to understand what is needed. Now, okay. So in this case, we have said, can we be able to remind ourselves about what we were supposed to be doing in August 2023, question 1C? And I have said we are going to be starting with ILO methods. The examiner has given us dependent and independent variables, but what we are forming is the linear equations, A plus BX. We can be able to remind ourselves very quickly, this should be the total cost. Total cost, we said it is normally called the dependent variable. We said our A is the fixed costs. We said our B should be the variable cost per unit. The variable cost per unit. Then this X of ours should be discussing about the number of units produced. Then when you look on the number of units produced, we discussed about independent variable, right? So it means the machine hours should be the dependent variable, because is the more the time we are going to be, the more the machine expense or the expense we are going to be incurring. For example, we might be discussing about the electricity expense. Ukiwa na more electricity, or the more the period we are going to be running our electricity expense, the more the time the machine will be able to run. So it means our X should be the machine. So in this case, I will be able to say my X should be my machine hours. So in this case, I just need to put here 70,000. The other one we are talking about 70,000. You can see there we have 93,000. We have 105,000. 105,000. Then we have 129,000. And we have 144,000 there. Now, when you look on the list, or on the other side, we have 1.8 million. 1.8 million there. We have 1,500, 1.5 million. Now, ukiangalia mimi, naeka the whole numbers. I will be able to show you why. Here we have 1,590. 1,590 there. We also have 1,650,000. 1,650,000. We have 1,740. And then we have 20,40,000. And remember, we are using A, we are talking about the high-low method, where we are forming a linear equation in form of A plus BX. So it is, I said X values are going to be corresponding the Y values. So when you look on the X values, we have to be identifying the highest and the least. So this one I can be able to say is my highest. Then we can be able to look on the list. This one should be our least value, lowest. So in this case, it is very simple, right? It is very simple in this manner. Let us take the highest equations. What are the highest equations? The highest equations we have, for example, we have 20,40,000, which should be equal to, when you advance your studies, you will be able to find the two A and B are dependent variable, they are independent, or they are constant. Let me talk about constant is the right, the constants are the right ones. So we can be able to put A here, plus now we have the value of X, which is 1440. 1440B. Now we can also discuss about the list values. You form the equation so that you can be able to do substitution. So A plus 78,000. Then we are subtracting because we want to eliminate one unknown. That is the reason as to why we are subtracting. So when you are doing our subtraction, it's very simple. Because when you subtract 1A minus 1A, you get 0. But 1440 minus 78, we get 1362,000. This is 1362. 1440. Let me just check. It should be 144,000. Hakuna mtu ameniambia hapo. 144,000 minus 78. We are getting 66,000. B, we should be equal to 2040 minus 1,500. We are getting 540,000. When you divide both sides by 66,000 and here by 66,000, so our B should be equal to what? 540,000 divided by 66,000. Our B should be 8.18. Once you finish doing this, you just come here and you tell me, can we be able to do substitution? Substituting for A. Substituting for A. And in this case, if we are substituting for A, it means, let me take my first equation. 24,000 is equals to A plus 144,000. And now you multiply by the value of B, which is 8.18. So it will be 8.18 times 144,000, which is 1177,920 plus A, which should be equal to 2040,000. Right? Now you can bring this on the other side. It will be 2040,000 minus 2040,000 minus 1177, sorry, 920 should be equal to A. So our A should be equal to how much? 2040,000 minus my answer should be around 862 080. And because we want to form the linear equation, you say y should be equal to what? 862,080 plus 8.18x. You have already formed a linear equation using the high-low method, right? Now, the other thing that you're supposed to be doing is answering number 2. Now, in your strategy, wakati your requirement imepewa kwa exam, when I'm being given that requirement in an exam, what am I supposed to be doing? Is very simple. And itaendanga pale, because I cannot be able to differentiate what is x and what is y. Then number 2, they normally give you x. In the second requirement, they give you x. So once they give you x, it's very important for you to say, let me take my x, let me check on what they are asking in terms of what they have given in the requirement number 2, and that will be my x, and then you'll be able to differentiate what is x and what is y. Now, that being said and done, it is very important for us to, let me just check on it. I think we did it. We did this question in our other classes, but now number 2, they are asking, determine the total electricity expense at 120,000 machine hours. Then hapo unakuja unaambia examiner, but x is equals to 120,000 units. What will be your y? So I say y should be equal to 862,080 plus 8.18 times 120,000. How much is this? How much is this? How much is this? So you just need to say 8.18 times 120,000. Yeah, you are getting 961,600 plus 862,080. So your y should be how much? Plus 862,080. We were getting Kenya shillings 184,3,680. 184 of 1843,680. 1843,680. I remember you are already being given. I already provided these solutions for you for revision purposes. So najua mumeanza to do that revision. Let me repeat the same question, but I use the regression. The regression might be on the pipeline in our exam. So in this case, let us repeat the same concepts, but in this case, we are using the regression, right? So in regression, we said, when you are computing for the regression analysis, we said, it is a method of cost estimation where all the data values are used to form a linear equation. Correct? That is what we said. Now, in this case, if we are using the least square method, to form your linear equation, we said our equation will be in form of a plus bx. But we said there are methods which are basically used, and we said to get our b, you normally take n the summation of xy minus summation of x, summation of y. We divide it by n the summation of x squared minus the summation of x in brackets squared. Correct? So in this case, it is very simple. You look on the requirements also. You say to get your a, you normally take the summation of y minus b summation of x. You divide it by n. Now, in this case, it means the summation of x and y, we can be able to get them there. But we need to have a column of x, y. Then we need to have a column of x squared. And I said, because we are using your calculator in an exam, right now we are preparing for the exams. It is very crucial for us to do our mods. Unakuja hapo unachukua mods. So let me write it here. You go to the mod. Once I press my mods, I normally see option 3 is regression. I press it from my button. So mods, you press regression, which is under number 3. We go to linear, which is under option 1. Right? Then my calculator up there will be able to display the reg. Now, I will be able to start by putting this data in my calculator. We'll be able to start with 78,000, comma, 1.8 million M plus, correct? So let us do it. So 78,000, comma, 1.8 million, and I'm putting the whole data, M plus. Then the calculator will be able to program and say n is equals to 1. You go to the second one, which is 78,000, comma, 1.5 million, m plus, correct, 93,000, comma, 1,590,000, m plus, 105,000, comma, 1,650,000, m plus, 129,000, comma, 1,740,000, m plus. The last one will be 144,000, comma, we have 2040,000, m plus. Then the calculator will be able to display n is equal to 6. Even if you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you're going to be knowing that your data is we have 6 values. So in this case, because I just want to get these summations down here, I just need to press a button called Shift 1. Shift, and then you go to your keyboard, you press 1. Shift, and then my keyboard 1. I will be able to see all of these. So in this case, the first one will be x squared. I just press 1 and equal sign. Then I'm going to be getting 69 million, 219. Is it million? No. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 6 millions. We have 6 zeros, sorry. Then that is done. Then shift 1. We go to number 2, equal sign. And then I'm going to be getting 627,000. From there, you press shift 1. Then you scroll using your replay button. You will be able to see the requirements. For example, the summation of y, number 2, equal sign. You get 320,000. Then the last one will be shift 1. And then the last one, summation of xy, and then number 3, and equal sign. You're going to be getting something closer to 10, 96, 74. You count then the zeros, you subtract 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I put 7 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right. Then now I can be able to put my data here. I say, to get my b, you are going to be taking 6. Our n is 6 times 10, 96, 74, 0, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, minus the summation of x, 627,000. Summation of y, 10, 320,000. You divide this by 10 times the summation of x squared, 69, 219 million, minus the summation of x now should be 627,000 is squared. How much it is? So shift, now to get these ones, to get these requirements here, we normally press shift 2. Shift 2. Now, it is very simple. Shift 2. Shift 2. How much it is? You scroll with the replay button until you see your B. So I scroll up to B, 2 equal sign. I'm going to be getting 4.95. 4.95, right? 4.95. You can see when I'm not struggling. Then you come and you get the summation of n. I say the value of a. I say to get our a, we take the summation of y, 10,320,000 minus 4.95 times the summation of x, 627,000. You divide it by 6. You divide it by 6. So how much is this? So it will be shift 2 now again. And then I scroll until I get a and a Roman 1. And then equal sign, we'll be able to get 1202. 1202, 799. 799. So to form the equation will be y is equals to 1202, 799 plus 4.95x. So to answer requirement number 2, you say, but my x should be equal to 120,000. So my y should be equal to 1202, 799 plus 4.95 times 120,000. How much it is? So plus 4.95 times 120,000. You're getting around 10 shillings, yeah? 1796, 1796, 799. 1796, 799. This is what will be required. But ushamaliza your question ilisema, you continue doing your questions. But now, remember wakati umemaliza doing your questions, ukumamaliza 5 questions and you still have time, you can come and multiply, right? You can come and multiply here, right? But never leave them blank. Never leave them blank like that. Now, I just want to move on. This is always number 1. And I will be able to say, it is very also important for you to check on our videos and you look on the account analysis. Don't forget to revise about it, the account analysis method. Now, I just want to get in topic number 2. Topic number 2. And the topic number 2, we have done massive questions regarding to the inventory valuations, which is a periodic process of determining the quantity and the price of the stock items. And we said we have 2 methods of stock valuations, the periodic and perpetual. But most importantly, the examiner is going to be asking you about the differences between the 2. I have already provided a theory for that. But now we have some things which you need to be checking here, which we are discussing about the methods which are normally used under the perpetual stock valuations. We have done a very good question for the first in, first out method. You can be able to check on my videos there. There is nothing different which is changing from what I provided. First in, first out, last in, first out. We have weighted, simple, and also we have the standard. We don't need to be repeating all that. That is the concept which has already been done and shared those materials with you. There is a concept which already you are, I have already also done very good question regarding to inventory management, where we discussed about the holding costs, the ordering costs, the minimum stock level, the maximum stock levels. We have the reorder levels. That area will not be able to repeat it again. But the only concept which I just want to do under the topic number 2, I will just be able to focus on. Don't forget, by the way, let me write here. Don't forget to revise on your EOQ, right? Your EOQ will be very important, without and with discounts. And I could be able to see someone who is asking me, Mwalimu, can you be able to repeat? There is no any different concept than the one which I've provided. Without the discounts, the difference normally arises when you're calculating the total costs. Because when we have with discounts, I said, the total cost, so the computation of the total cost will be, you take the holding cost plus ordering costs. These are the areas, plus the purchase cost. The purchase cost now become the relevant costs. This is the computation of when we have some discounts here. Because the discounts is normally given to the purchase price per unit. But when we talk about without the discounts, here kuna, without the discounts, the total cost we normally take the holding plus the ordering, right? And also I did a question like the one which was brought in, I think it should be the April, whereby we are being given some ranges. Always play with the ranges on the credit side. And that is what we have already done. And then we determine which is within the range, which is not, and so on and so forth. All of that video is already provided there. I will not be able to repeat that. The concept which I just want us to do, very serious questions, will be regarding to labor remuneration. Management accounting is not that hard. As I could be able to see, you are not speaking even in the WhatsApp group. I don't know what is the challenge there. But now, I just want to simplify it so that you can be able to see management accounting is not as hard as you are thinking. Now, let us go to the labor remuneration. I know all of us, we are working. This water, we are working somewhere. And during the time, during this period we are working, there is a time in which we normally say, nataka haki yangu, right? Nataka haki yangu. And in that concept of labor remuneration is where we have to be classifying what is a labor. And it normally refers to the hours worked by the employees who are taking part directly in the production process. And we are saying that the labor cost, therefore, is the cost of purchasing the labor, right? It is the cost of purchasing the labor. And basically, it normally applies when we are dealing with the direct labor and the direct laborers. Now, who are these people who are called the direct labor? And the direct laborers are the people who are directly involved. Remuneration. These are the people who are directly involved in the production process. Kuna watu kama accountants. There are people like managers. There are people like receptionists. Kuna people kama gatemen. These are the people who are being put within the organization to make sure the services are efficient and effective. Now, we have the people who are producing that product, and those are the direct laborers. And we are seeing that their payment is directly linked to the number of the hours taken in the production, and their earnings is the fraction of the number of the hours taken and the rate per hour. Indirectly, I have talked about some few people there, and I have already provided a lot of notes in regard to the labor remuneration, which you can be able to capitalize in terms of the revision, and also looking on what the examiner can be able to raise and take advantage of that. Now, because we are looking on, I don't want to explain a lot of things there. Just give me the opportunity to look on the question which I should be doing with for you right now. The questions for labor remuneration is where I'm in straight away. Let me just check here. I had already prepared good things for you, so don't mind. Come with a quick revise. You are well sorted here with me. There is a question somewhere in 2021 is the one which I'm just looking at. So that August, sorry. There is a question in August 2022, question 1C. August 2022. I just want to do a question regarding the labor remuneration, and then we look on the bonus schemes and we see how these questions should be handled. So let us look on August 2022 here. I think now someone like Jemima should be ready for us, the question. So let me go there before I mute. Don't forget revise. Mimi nimewapea the solutions of 2023. Don't forget to revise solutions I shared with you. So August 2022, question number 1C here. Please go on very quickly. Jemima? Jemima is not here with us. James?
Tax Limited manufactures men suits for local market jobs allocated to two operators, Njogu and Mabili, with bonus paid for hours saved. In the month of July 2022, Njogu made 100 units, while Mabili made 105 units, for which the time allowed of 60 standard minutes and 50 standard minutes per unit, respectively, was credited. Additional information: the basic wage rate was $360 per hour for both employees. For every hour saved, a bonus was paid at the rate of 25% of the basic wage rate. Hours worked in excess were paid at the basic wage rate plus 2/3. Njogu completed his job in 88 hours, while Mabili completed his job in 78 hours. A basic working week has 80 hours. We are required to determine the amount of bonus payable, total gross wage payable, and wage cost per unit.
Thank you so much. When this question is being brought in, your exam, sometimes you might be wondering, what am I supposed to be doing? And when you come up across that question of labor remuneration, here we are doing August 2022. Question number 1C. August 2022, question number 1C. Now, when I'm reading this question, you are telling me that the number of units which they were able to do, right? The number of units which they were able to do was 100 and 105. But your analysis under the labor remuneration should be based on the hourly basis. So here, we are going to be having a format looking like this. We have hours allowed, right? You talk about the hours taken, right? Hours allowed, hours taken. We have hours saved. Hours saved. Then we have overtime. We have overtime there. Then we are looking at the employees. We have Jogu and Mabili. And Mabili. Mabili, yes. So in this case, remember, you already be given how many hours do we require, or how many minutes do we require to produce one unit. And the first one I can see, we are using 60 minutes. So you can talk about 60 divided by 60, you're supposed to be getting 1 hour. Then you multiply by the number of units being produced, which is 100. So it means Jogu is spending around 100 hours. It took 100 hours. So the hours allowed is 100 hours. Then we also discuss about Mabili, which is required to produce, who has standard minutes, 50 standard minutes. So you convert to hours. So 50 times 60, you multiply 50 over 60 you multiply by 105. So 50 over 60. 50 divided by 60. You multiply by 105. We are getting 87.5. 87.5 hours. What about the hours taken? When you look on the question itself, in note number 4, we are being told Jogu completed his job in 88 hours, correct? So here we are talking about 88 hours. 88 hours. Then you're also being told while Mabili completed the job in 78 hours. Correct. So what is the hours saved? It is the difference between the hours taken, hours allowed minus hours taken. So how much is the hours allowed? 100 minus 88, we get around 12 hours. Then the other one we have 87.5 minus 78. We are getting something closer to 9.5 hours. Then when you want to calculate the overtime, if you want to calculate your overtime, you say that in note number 5, we are being told that basic working week has 80 hours. Nani alifanya? We only take 88 hours. Alifanya how many hours overtime? So you take 88 minus 80. So here you get 8 hours. What about the other one? Who you earn overtime? Because he was able to work even less than the required hours in a week. So he doesn't have. Then, even don't look on the requirements. Start by calculating your basic pay. You start calculating the basic pay, and we say the basic pay, it normally comes from a basic working week hours. So we have N and M. So in this case, we are talking about 80. Everyone is required to work for 8 hours. And the basic wage rate is 360. Multiply here by 360. How many shillings each is supposed to be getting in terms of the basic wage or the basic pay? So the first one will be, is the same, 80 times 360. Should be 28,800. 28,800, right? Then from there, you can also discuss about the computation of the bonus pay. What is the bonus pay? We say, to get the bonus is based on what? Even if the examiners already told you there under the information number 2, for every hour saved, a bonus was paid at the rate of 25% of the basic wage rates. So in this case, it means it will be 25 times what? 360 times the hours saved times 12. The other one will be 25% times 360 times 9.5. So how much bonus do each got? So in this case, it will be In this case, it will be 0.25 times 360 times 12, getting 1080. 1080. Then the other one will be 0.25 times 360 times 9.5, getting 855. Right? Once you finish doing so, also you need to calculate your overtime. Right? Now overtime iko na mtu mmoja, right? Iko na job. So in note number 3, we are being told the hours worked in excess were paid at the basic wage rate plus 2/3. What does that mean? The wage rate is 360, right? Plus, even the unaambiwa, plus 2/3 of 360 times, right? Times what? Times the overtime, which is 8 hours. Or we can just be able to talk about 1 and 2/3, which is being converted to 4/3 times 360 times 8 hours. We're going just to be getting the same thing here. You can just determine which one you can be able to follow. This is always the same. It's just like taking the whole amount and then the 2/3. Then you'd say 3 times 2, 3 times 1, it should be 5 here, sorry. 5/3 and something over that. So in this case, it will be, let me try the first one, 2 divided by 3 times 360 plus 360 times 8. We should be getting around 4,800. Then the other one will be, let us look on whether we can be able to get the same answer. 5 divided by 3 times 360 times 8, getting 4,800. You can choose the one that you want to follow. So the total pay will be how much? For total pay, it will be, for example, for N and M, you take 2,800 for each, you put it there, plus we have N, which is 1080. This is 855 plus 4,800 here. We are now overtime. Correct. So 28,800 plus 1080 plus 4,800. We should be getting that 4,000. That 4,680. Then the other one would be 28,800 plus 855, getting 29,655. There is a time in which the examiner will be asking you to calculate what? The gross earnings, right? Or the gross earning for the good units. Sometimes it might be we have the spoil units, which we are not capitalizing to the employees, right? If there is a spoil unit and the examiner is telling you, even if they are going to be having some spoilages in terms of the units, you deduct them from here. There is only that additional information. Kama examiner hajakwambia hivyo na kuna spoilage, pia unaachana nazo. But when you're calculating for the good units, it means I'm going now to be taking these values, you divide by the number of units, you subtract the bad ones. You get the gross wage for the good units. How much would be the cost per good units? That is what you're supposed to be doing there. It is not hard. Unless we have a question. Do you have a question here? Any question, please? Let me know. Do we have any question whatsoever? Any question? Any question whatsoever now? So if you don't have any question, because I just want to do some key areas, allow me to do December 2021. There is December 2021 here. December 2021, before we complete these questions of labor remuneration. So December 2021, we have question number 1B. Someone to read, please. Shayla, can you be able to read, please?
Senge Products Limited manufactures and retails products A, B, and C. The company has 120 workers who work under a group bonus scheme. The workers are categorized into 3 grades and are paid a bonus of the excess of time allowed over time taken. The bonus paid is 80% of the workers' base rate and is shared by the workers in the proportion of time spent on the job. The following production data has been extracted from the company's records for the month of November 2021. Required percentage of hours saved to hours taken, bonus due to the group, gross earnings due to the group.
Thank you so much. When this question is being given, and you can be able to see, based on your notes, which I was able to share with you, you can be able to realize this question is coming from the group bonus schemes. And these are the schemes developed by the employees to reward their employees as a group. And it is normally happens where the work done is to affect the number of employees in a given section. So how am I going to be working on this question, considering mwalimu amenifunza something different when we are not dealing with the group bonus schemes? Now, when this question is given, I just want you to be able to follow up. And if you can be able to follow my videos, you'll be able to see they don't have much differences, right? So this is what you normally do. This is what you normally do here. So when you are dealing with the bonus schemes, this is what you normally do. Let me open mine here, my phone for 2021, December. Okay. So what am I supposed to be doing here? It is very simple. I say, let me just look on the product which I'm producing. Right? Products and the units produced. So let us start with the products. Then we have our units produced. Right? We have the products, we have the units produced, we have the time allowed per unit. Time allowed per unit, correct? Then, after the time allowed per unit, let us look on the time allowed in hours. In hours, the time allowed in hours also. We need to capture it there. So the number of units which we are producing, or our products will be A, B, and C. Then the units produced, we are going to be having 640. We have 640 there. We have 1280. 1280. Then we have 2400. Correct. Then the time allowed in this case, the time allowed, I can be able to see it somewhere. We have per unit 63, 120, 63, 120, we have 100. And I've said, convert it into hours. So the first one will be 63 divided by 60 times the number of units produced is 640. You're going to be getting in that manner, right? So, how much the first one? Let me just see. It will be 63 divided by 60 times how much? Times 640. Getting 672 hours. 672 hours. That is the hours which you are going to be working on product A. What about B? It will be 120 divided by 60. All right. Then you multiply by 1280. Getting 2560 hours. And the third one will be 100 divided by 60 times 2400, getting 4,000 hours. 4,000 hours. That is stage number one. That is stage number one. I know that you cannot be able to see here, but I can be able to write it somewhere here. 672 hours. 672 hours. 672 hours. 672 hours. Now, once you do that, it is very important because when you looked on our formats, we were having the time allowed, time taken, time saved, and overtime. So in this case, allow me to calculate the total time allowed. Total time allowed. So the total time allowed will be 4,000 plus 2560 plus 672. Shall be 7232. 7232 hours, right? Now from there, let us calculate the total time or total time taken. Total time taken, or we can talk about the time worked. The time worked. This is very simple. The time worked is very simple. How is it simple? Simple. Let us take the categories of workers. Let us look on our categories of workers, which we have, correct? Then from there, let us look on the number of direct hours. Number of direct workers. Number of direct workers there, right? Then we have to be looking on the hours worked. At the end, we are going to be getting the time taken. So the categories of workers as per the question, we are already being provided with the grade of workers. We have 1, 2, 3. Correct. Those are the number categories of workers. The number of direct workers, or the number of direct workers, we have 40. We have 40, we have 16 and 64. This one we multiply by what? The hours worked, right? What is the hours worked? We have 30. Can I be able to see it? The hours worked. We have 30, 64, 50. 30, 64, and 50. So the first one would be 1,200 hours. Then the other one would be 16 times 64. 16 times 64 is how much? 16 times 64, we should be having 1024. 1024 hours. You have 64 times 50, getting that 200 hours. That's 200 hours. So ask yourself, right? Ask yourself, what is the total time taken? What is the total time taken? We say the total time taken will be 1,200 plus 1024 plus that 200. So how much is it? That's 200 plus 1024 plus 1,200. We are getting 54, 24 hours. 54, 24 hours. 54, 24 hours. It is very important for us to know what is the percentage of hours saved to hours taken. The percentage of hours saved to hours taken. So to get all the percentage of the hours saved to hours taken, it means to get your time saved, you're going to be looking on the time allowed minus the time taken. So 7232 minus 52, 54, 24. 7232 minus 54, 24, we are getting 1808. 1808 hours. So to be able to grade these with the percentage, we say, let us take the hours saved, 1808. You divide it by the time taken, which is 54, 24. Then we multiply it by 100%. Multiply it by 100%. How much is the percentage? Divide by 54, 24. We are getting 33.33%. 33.33%. Now, the other thing that you need to be getting in that question is in regards to the bonus due to the group. What is the bonus due to the group? Bonus. The more bonus due to the group. What is the bonus due to the group? It is very simple. Let us take the categories of workers. The categories of workers, we know we have number 1, 2, and 3. Then we also have the rate per hour. We're going to be putting it there. Then we also have time taken. Time taken. Time taken, we are going just to be put it down there. Then we have something called the bonus pay. The bonus pay, we put it there. Now, when you look on the rate per hour, already the examiner has provided you with that information. We are already being given 300. 300, we have 270. Then we have 240, correct? Then the time taken, very simple. We were able to get our time taken, which is 1200. 1200, 1024, then we have that 200. The total here, we talked about 5424. So you have to be working on the proportions down here. But we have to be going back to the question and being, we will be able to see how are we paying the bonuses. We have been told the bonus paid is 80% of the workers' base rates, right? The workers' base rates. So in this case, by the way, we don't know the time saved. But based on the proportion that we have, because we are going to be raising the proportion here, we'll be able to determine, because you know the total number of the time saved for the whole group is 1808. So to determine how many categories of workers A were able to save, so we'll be able to say, let me take 1200 divided by 5424, right? 1200 times 1200 divided by 5424, then we multiply by 1808, 1808, then we multiply by the bonus pay. The bonus pay, we are being told it is 80%. Group A is being paid 300 shillings. Right? Let me just repeat again. How far you are getting the bonus pay? How many hours were being saved? Correct? Then they are paid 80% of the basic wage rates. So in this case, it is very simple. I just say 1200 divided by 5424 times 1808, which is 400, times 0.8 times 300. The first one we're going to be getting Kenya shillings, 96,000. The first one will be 96,000. The second one will be, because we are just using this proportion, right, to distribute the total hours saved, which you are able to get up there. So the second one will be 1024 divided by 5424 times 1808, right? Getting 341 times 0.8 times, what is the wage rate? 270. Here we are getting 73,000. 73,728, correct? Then the other one will be how much? The last one will be 3,200 divided by 5424 times 1808. 3,200 divided by 5424 times 1808. Then we multiply it with 0.8 times 240. They are being paid a total of 204,800. Now, there is the last part in which the examiner is asking you to compute the gross earning due to the group. Na hii question ni common sana. Hii swali ni common sana. Right? So examiner akikuuliza hiyo swali. The examiner akikuuliza, right? The examiner akikuuliza, what is the gross earning due to the group? The gross earning due to the group. The gross earning due to the group. Very simple here. Now, you look on the categories of workers which you have. Categories of workers. The categories of workers, we have number 1, 2, 3. So to get your basic wage, we have to be looking at what is the time taken, right? And then we have to be comparing with the rate per hour. So here I just take the rate per hour, time taken there. Then from there, we are going to be adding our bonus pay, which you have already calculated, right? To get our gross earning. To get my gross earnings there. So the rate per hour, we have 300, 270, then we have 240. All of these you multiply it by the time taken, we have 1200, 1024, then we have that 200, right? Then we add the bonus pays, 96,000. The other one would be 73, 728. The last one will be 204,800. Okay, take your calculator out there. So 300 times 1200 plus 96,000. We have 456,000. Then the second one will be 270 times 1024 plus 73, 728, getting 350, 208. Then the last one will be 240 times that 200 plus 204, 800, getting 972, 972, 972, 800, 972, 800. Any question regarding to labor remuneration? Any question up that point? So here you can go and do December 2022 question 3B. Already I know you have it somewhere. It is in my videos. So this is what I just wanted you to work on our revision. I think you are able to do both the labor remuneration questions based on how the examiner normally says the questions. Then from there, I just want to focus my attention, because we don't have enough time. We still have a lot to cover. I would like to work on overheads, right? Overheads. And when you look on the aspects of the overheads, then I have already done a very good question in regard to the overheads, November 2015, in our class videos. But I was also able to share the solution with you for the 2023 question. I don't think if the examiner can be able to repeat the same concept which he was able to bring in an exam. But my attention is being brought on the area regarding to the overheads from the service department to another service department. And we said, where the service department serves another service department, then the overhead from this department will be transferred or reapportioned to the production departments after they receive their share from the other department. Then we are saying the other service department can be able to accumulate their costs, and then we will be able to reallocate based on how these departments are being supported by certain service department. And we are saying there are certain methods which are basically used to allocate the overheads from the service department to another service departments. We normally have the direct allocation method, where we are saying in the direct allocation method, we say that the overheads from the service departments are allocated to the production departments only. So it means we don't allocate in the service department when we are using the direct allocation method. I could be able to see a student who was able to ask me about the step and close down method, which is the steeple case. I think should be a steeple case method, where we are discussing about the service departments which allocates a higher proportions of the overhead. We are going to be identifying it. And once we identifying it, we said that the overhead from the department is allocated first to the other departments, including the service department and production departments. From there, we are saying Once the overheads have been allocated from the departments, then the department is being closed down. That is, does not accept the overheads anymore. And we say the overheads from the other department is then allocated to the production department. I think I was able to give out that explanation in our class. Then we have the repeated distribution method. We say the overheads from the departments are allocated to all the other departments. For example, for both the production and service departments, repeatedly until you complete all the overheads or until you exhaust the overheads. But we have the simultaneous, which I will be able to work on with the illustration. Later on, we'll be able to look at the overstock and absorption of overheads, and then we close the issues of the overheads, and we wait for CASNEP to come. Later on, I will be able to look on the activity-based costing before we shift our attention to costing methods. Is that in order? So let me just give you a break, 1 minute or 3 minutes break. Just take a glass of water, and then we continue. Thank you. So let us discuss about the matters of these labor remuneration. Sorry, we are discussing about the overheads. It's very crucial for us to be able to look on a question tested on when are they testing this question? Let me just do November 2017, question number 4. Number 1B. November 2017. I just want to repeat that question. You'll be able to realize all the questions for labor remuneration, all the questions for overhead, are similar. So we just need to choose one, we do it, then allow you to continue doing your revisions with the questions which are already existing in your past paper. Again, I will not be able to do revisions on not be able to do the revision on budgeting and budgetary control. The questions are well handled in our class, and the questions are similar, so we'll not be able to repeat that. But the others will be, I will be able just to work on a question which is already tested on variance analysis. For example, the one setup of a question which was tested last semester. The question is here with us, by the way. Someone to read, please. Someone to read for us before I give you a clue of what we are supposed to be doing. Someone, please. James just reads.
Mazuri Limited manufacturing company has 3 production departments and 2 service departments. Overheads for the departments for a specific period are as follows. Production departments X, Y, and Z, 2,500, 2,500. Service departments A, B, 1,780. The total is 7,780. Additional information. A technical assessment for the apportionment of the service department costs were as follows. Department A, scroll.
Or scroll, okay.
Yes. Department A and B. X, Y, Z. The percentages are outlined there. Additional information to output for the production departments during the period are provided below. Department X, unit of output 200,000, Y 100,000, Z 50,000. You are required to the total overheads chargeable to the production departments using continuous allotment method, simultaneous equation method, overhead costs per unit for each department.
Thank you so much. Let me just start by using these questions to do all the methods which we have already discussed earlier, and I will just be able to use the information to do the direct allocation methods. This question is already tested in November 2017. Question number 1B, I think, I don't know whether it is Catherine or someone who was able to ask about the issues of overheads. So we are going to be starting with number 1, which is direct allocation methods. So we have the direct allocation methods. So we are going to be looking on the, as per the question now it is being set. So allow me just to open it on my phone so that you can move very quickly. We just look at it here. Okay, thank you. Now, so the production department, we have X, Y, Z. Then for the service, we have AB. For the direct allocation, it's very simple. For the direct allocation, so the overhead allocated for each department, we have 2,500. Yeah. Here, the other one we have 2,000. The other one we have 1,500. We have 1,780. So you can start allocating from A, no problem. So from A, we are allocating 1,000. Correct? We are allocating 1,000 and we say, if we are allocating 1,000, we are just doing it to the production department, right? To the production department. The biggest question is, when you look on the additional information number 1, the students normally ask, which the proportion am I going to be using? Is it 100% or is it 80%? Because you're not going to be allocating it to the service department. It means you're going to be allocating to the production department. So in this case, it will be 30 divided by 80. Why 80? Because the 20, you are not allocating it to the service department. So the first one will be 30 divided by 80. Then you multiply by 1,000, getting 375. The other one will be, we also have 30 over 80, 375. Then the balance will be 20 over 80, which is 250. From there, you can allocate from B. So from B, we allocate 780, but you're not allocating to A. So what will be the proportion? You can see A is B given 10% by B. So in this case, it will be 40 divided by 90. Correct? Then you multiply by 780, getting 347 here. Correct? Then the other one will be 30 divided by 90 times 780. You're getting 260. Right? Then the difference should be on the other side. So 347 plus my answer, right, minus 780. The balance here is 173. And you can be able to do the same. So to get the total overheads, nothing much. So the first one will be 2,500 plus 375 plus 347, getting 3,222. The other one will be 2,000 plus 375 plus 260 plus 260. We are getting 2,635. The last one will be 1,500 plus 250 plus 173, getting 1923. 1923. Number 2, we normally talk about the step and close down. methods. They are calling it steeple case. So in this case, you normally identify the survey department which is going to be allocating the highest proportion and allocate it first. So in this case, we are going to be having X, Y, Z, A, B, right? So which one is allocating? Tutaangalia from the additional information number 1. Let us first look on the allocated overheads. So here is 2,500, 2,000, 1,500, 1,000, and 780, right? Then when you look between A and B, in additional information number 1, you ask yourself, which is the survey department which is allocating the higher proportion? You can see A is giving B how much? 20% compared to B on how much is given to A. And you're going to be allocating it first. So here we talk about from A, we are going to be allocating 1 million first. And that is why it is normally called new step and new close. New step to the survey department, which is allocating the higher proportion. So in this case, it means we are working with 100%. So it will be 0.3 times 1,000, getting 300 here. Also here 300. Then the other proportion will be 0.2, 200, and also here 0.2, 200. And now you're going to be allocating 980, right, to the production department. But we are closing now. You can see we have already closed what departments. So we are not allocating from for A anymore. So from B now, which proportion are we going to be using? 40 over 90. So it will be 40 divided by 90 times 980, getting 436. Correct. Then the other one will be 30 over 90. We multiply it with 980. We get 327. Then the last one will be, let me just look for it, plus 327 minus 980. Get it 217 here. Imagine you are done with it. You're just done with it in that manner. So the first one will be 2,500 plus 300 plus 436. 3236. 2,000 plus 300 plus 327. We are getting 2627. Then we have 1,500 plus 417. Let me just put it in that manner. We get 1917. We have number 3, where we normally talk about repeated allocation methods. Sometimes they can call it not simultaneous, sorry. There is another name which they call continuous allocation, continuous allotment method. They can be able to call that in an exam. So in this case, you're going just to be taking your, let me just, because of my space, let me just take the allocated overheads. You have 25 there, you have 2,000, 1,500, 1,000, and 780. You just first take them like that. Then, here we are not going to be looking at how much is, which one is allocating the highest proportion now. We are repeating throughout. So here, for example, if we say from A, right, we are using a proportion of 100% because we are allocating out to the service department. So allow me to start with 1,000. So it will be 300, 300, right, 200, 200 here. We allocate 980, and we are allocating also 100%. So here we have 400. This is from B. 400. The other proportion should be 300. No, it should not be 400. 0.4 times 980. You're getting 392. The other one would be 0.3 times 980. Getting 294. 294 there. You have 0.2 times 980. Getting 196. Then the other one will be 98. So when you come in and you tell us from A, we are allocating 98, right? Using the same proportions, 0.3 times 98, 29.4. The other one will be 0.3 to 9.4. The other one will be 0.2 times 98, 19.6, 19.6. So we are allocating 19.6 from B. So from B, we are allocating 19.6 using the proportion provided. That is 0.4 times 19.6. Here we are getting 7.84. The other one will be 0.3 times 19.6, getting 5.88. Then 19.6 times 0.2, 3.92. And the other one will be 1.96, and we allocate 1.96 from A. So it will be 0.3 times 1.96. You're getting 0.588. Ishafika kwa 0, unaachana nayo. So in this case, it will be, the other one will be 0.588. The other one will be 0.2 times 1.96, getting 0.392, 0.392. Unafungia hapo. So you get your summations there. That is how you do the simultaneous. Then number 4, we are talking about, that is how you do the repeated allocation. So let us go to simultaneous. Simultaneous methods, simultaneous. So what are the simultaneous equation methods? Simultaneous equation. We normally form an equation. So in this case, we can be able to say, to get our total overheads, we normally take the allocated. You have to be forming your equations here first. Allocated overheads plus apportioned. Overheads. So in this case, it is very simple if you can be able to, or you can be able to talk about the share from the survey department. For example, when you look on the, because here we are dealing with the survey department first, it means we have to be looking on how much is the allocation for the X, right? Because you can be able to form an equation and say, let A be represented by X and let B be represented by Y. So in this case, we say our X, which is now the department, survey department X, will be equal to allocated overhead is 1,000 plus the share from the survey department. B inapata how much from A? B inapata how much from A? That is how it is. Correct. It is getting 0.2 of Y. Right? 0.2 of Y. That's how it should be. No, it is getting 0.1. X is getting 0.1. Survey department 1 is getting 0.1 of Y. Y now being the survey department B is giving us 10%. What about your Y now? We say for Y should be equal to 780, but it is getting 0.2 from X. From X. Put the like sums together. So in this case, it will be X minus 0.1 Y should be equal to 1,000. Then the other one, because we want the X to be on the same column, we say negative 0.2X plus Y should be equal to 780. And we say, because we are using the elimination method, you can choose to eliminate one. So in this case, allow me to multiply my equation, the first equation, with negative 0.2. So that the X can be equal. So it will be negative 0.2X plus 0.02Y should be equal to negative 200. Negative 0.2X plus Y should be equal to 780. Once we subtract here, how much are we going to be getting? The X we shall eliminate X, then we remain with Y, and we say 0.02 minus 1 should be equal to negative 0.98Y, which should be equal to negative 980. So divide here by negative 0.98, divide here by negative 0.98. So Y should be equal to 1,000. Y should be equal to 1,000. And we say can we be able to substitute for X? And we say, let us substitute for X here. Substituting for X. And we say, if we want to substitute for X, we say, let us take the first equation. Or we can be able to take this one, by the way, this one. And we say, if our X is equals to 1,000 plus 0.1 times 1,000, which you have already gotten here. Right? So how much it is equivalent to 1,100. Ushapata hivyo, unakuja hapa. You see here. Unakuja hapa sasa. Hapa tu. Let me just use this for direct allocation. So you change the service, the allocations of the service departments. Hapa nakuja sasa, badala ya kuput 1,000 here, I put 1,100 and here I put 1,000. And then you allocate them directly to the production department. How? For example, we use 100%, but we don't allocate to the service department here. So for example, if it is 1,100, we are not allocating there. But if we are allocating to the production department, we say 0.3 times 1,100, you get 330. Right? Here 330. And here we get 220. From B, we are allocating 1,000 direct to the production department. So the first one will be 400, 300, and here 200. So how much is this? How much is that? How much is this? So in this case, it will be very simple because we are going to be taking 2,500 plus 730, getting 3,230. The other one will be 2,000 plus 330 plus 300, getting 2,630. Then we have 1,500 plus 220 plus 200, getting 1,920 here. There is a question in which the examiner is asking down there. The last requirement now. The last requirement the examiner is asking us. The examiner is asking us the issue regarding to the A or R. For example, we are discussing about the overhead absorption rates. And we say, if we want to get the overhead absorption rates, we normally take the total budgeted overheads. The total budgeted overheads, we divide by the total budgeted area of the base. So how much is the base? The total, it should be the total budgeted units. It should be the unit, sorry. The unit of the base. Sorry. There is a challenge there for the network. So let us start with for example, let's start with X. So what are the total budgeted overheads? The total budgeted overheads for X, it will be, for example, the total budgeted overheads which we have allocated here using the simulation analysis, it will be 30,000. You divide by the number of units, because that is what the examiner has already provided you with. Under the note number 2, you have been told the output of for the production departments. For example, department X should be 200,000. Right? We go to Y now and we say it should be 26,000. We divide by the number of units, and in this case it's 100,000. We get it there. Then we have our Z, which will be 19,20,000. We divide it by 50,000. Take your calculator. Be able to get out of this. So it is very simple. 1920 divided by 50. The first one will be Kenya shillings, 38.4. The second one will be 2630 divided by 100, getting 26.30. The other one will be 3230 divided by 200, getting Kenya shillings 16.15. 16.15. That is how the questions of the overheads are supposed to be done and allocated accordingly. Remember now what I have done. The examiner, I have already answered what the examiner wanted there. I've answered everything the examiner required us to do there. Now, that is not the end, because I cannot be able to tell you that the examiner does not twist these questions of simulation, not the simulation, but the overheads. There is a question which they tested in November 2018, question 1B, and this question was differently tested compared to, it should be November, yes, November 2018, and it should be breaking in regards to this question. Question number 1B. You can see these questions of the overheads are coming number 1. Number 1B. Who is reading for us now? Shayla is here. Okay, Shayla, you can read, please.
So, okay, Ndura Limited has two production departments, MM and NN, and two service departments, PP and QQ. For the month of August 2018, the budgeted hours and costs were as follows. Additional information. The service department costs are apportioned to the production department as follows. 2. The overheads of the production departments are absorbed into product cost using a rate per hour. 3. During the month of August 2018, the actual activity levels and cost were as follows. Required. The overheads to be charged to the production departments. 2. The amount of under or over absorption in each production department.
Thank you so much. What the examiner is bringing this question is just wanting you to be able to, is trying to challenge you and see whether you can be able to look on how you understand the concept of overstock and absorption of overheads. And we say the overheads absorbed to products can either be more or less than expected, depending on the expected or actual outputs. The overabsorption occurs when the overheads absorbed is more than the actual overheads, and underabsorption occurs when the overheads absorbed are less than the actual overheads. And the treatment of the overstock and absorption of overheads is basically we normally adjust the cost of work in progress, finished goods, or the cost of sales. We normally write off the amounts in the income statements, and also we carry forward the amount into the next year's budgets. That being said and done, because I just want us to be able to understand it fully, when you're doing this question of the overhead to be charged to the production department, please just use the step and close down methods. So how am I going to be working on this question as provided? When this question comes, or if it is coming next week, this is what you're supposed to be dealing with it, or this is how you are supposed to be solving it. So under the overhead analysis, allow me just to use the step and close down. Step and close down methods. The step and close down method, allow me to use it. Step and close down now. So in this case, let me just take the production together with the production departments together with the service. So we have MM, we have NN, right? MM, we have NN, we have PP, then we have QQ, right? Something looking like this. So let us take our allocated overheads. So the allocated overheads is for the question we have 43,200. 50, is it 52,200? I think it should be like that. We have 10,800. 10,800, and then we have 7,200. And we have said when you are using the step and close down, what am I supposed to be doing? Very simple here. You have to be identifying. You identify the survey department, which is allocating their proportion to the other one. And you can see PP is allocating 30 to QQ. So allocate it first. So from PP. So here we are talking about 10,800 and we are allocating with 100% because we are stepping to QQ and we are closing it down. So it will be 50%, 0.5 times 10,800. How much is this? 0. Where's my calculator? Okay. Will be 0.5 times 10,800. Here we are getting 5,400. Then the other one will be 20%, 0.2 times 10,800, getting 2,160. Then the other one will be 30%, 0.3 times 10,800, getting that 240 here. Right? What is the total there? Plus 7,200. Get 10 for 40. And then we are not stepping there. So from QQ, which proportion are we using? We say for QQ, we are using 40 over 80. Because we are not using the proportion for PP, we are closing down. So times I have 0.5 here, getting 52.20 there. Then the other one will be the same, 52.20. Right? 52.20 there. So what is our actual overhead right now? You do your summation. You get your actual overheads. Whatever you are getting here is your actual overhead. So if you are revising well, utapatana na hii swali somewhere. The same way it is, plus 5,400 plus 52.20. Getting 53. Then we have 52,200 plus 2,160 plus 52.20. Getting 59,580. 59,580, right? Now, let us look on the overheads absorbed. Let us look on the overhead absorbed, and we say, to get the overhead absorbed, we normally take the overhead absorption rate. The overhead absorption rate, we multiply by the actual unit of the base. So the biggest question will be, do we have the overhead absorption rate? We say no. So let us start with MM to get the overhead absorption rate. We say, let us take the total budgeted overheads. So what is our total budgeted overheads? We say, when you look on the question hub there, we have some total budgeted. For example, for MM, we have 45,000. We divide by the unit of the base, which is 1,800 here. We are using the labor hours. So how much per unit? 45,000 divided by 1,800. We are getting 25 shillings. Then if you need for NN, you do the same. OAR, where the total budgeted on that side will be 54,000. We divide it by we have 5,400. Getting Kenya shillings 10. Getting 10 shillings. Getting 10 shillings there. So in this case, to get the overhead absorbed, we say for MM, for example, and NN here, we are going to be taking 25, and here we have 10. We multiply it with the number of hours here. For example, for when you look on the actuals, they're down there, number 3, we are being told the actual unit of the base. So during the month of August 2018, the activity or the actual activity levels were, here we have 1980, and here we have 6120. This translates to 6121. This one is how much? 1980 times 25, getting 49,500. 49,500, right? Now, after getting these, let us understand whether these overheads was over or under absorbed. We start with the departments here. We start with the departments. The other thing we have the absorbed overheads. We have our actual. Then we look over stroke under. We look on over stroke under absorption of these overheads. Right? We look on over stroke under absorption of these overheads. So let's start by looking at the departments. We have MM, then we have NN here. Absorbed overhead, do we have what? So the absorbed overheads, I can see the first one we have 49,500. Then we have 61,200. 61,200. So the actual overheads in ngapi. So the actual overheads we have 53,820. Then we have 59,580. So the first one will be over or under absorbed. 49,500 minus 53,820. We have a difference of 43,20. Then you are saying you are getting a negative. That means is under. Then the other one will be 61,200 minus 59,580, getting 1620, which will be over absorbed, which will be over absorption of overhead. That is how, and if you go to the August 2022, you'll be able to find the same challenges there. Great. I think we should be stopping at that point because dawa ya kuponyesha itaki mingi. I think now the areas which I just want to focus my attention much in this week, it will be the costing methods. Unajua ni nyinyi is the only group which doesn't talk. So the costing methods, we are going to be looking on the marginal and absorption. Marginal and absorption. Then I look on the variance analysis. And these ones I can be able to do them very quickly. So, but a lot of work will be invested here. Costing methods there. And then I will just urge you, based on you can see the effort which I'm putting here, to make sure that we repeat most of the questions. Because there is no any questions by the way that talk about Casnet. They are just going to be manipulating the figures from the question which they have already tested, and then they will do so. They will test these questions and making sure that utashinda ukisema na hii swali niliona mahali. So it is very crucial we repeat the videos and also the revision video so that we can be able to understand most of the concepts as we wait for our exams. I have said once again, it is very important for you to go to my videos, watch the budgeting and budgetary control. Budgeting and budgetary control. Do you have any question at that point now? Any questions at that point? Any question? So for the other classes moving forward, we shall be able to do them to cover the remaining parts of the syllabus. Thank you and bye-bye.